Hello, in this video we will try to continue adjusting the user interface through which we present and collect the user feedback on the challenges of the game. In the previous video we were able to turn on and off the different buttons that the user used to respond to the game, and in this video we will look at the Start Game button itself. When you click on Start Game, the button is enabled. And as you can see, I can keep pressing on the button, which will call on play game more than one time. Even after making an answer, I can still start game. This is disrupts the flow of the game, and it's something the user should not do. Always follow a strategy. The things that the user should not do, you should not enable it in your app. So this start button really functions at the beginning of the game, meaning that outside the turns. But once a game starts and the turns are running, you really don't need that button. So this button needs to be disabled during that time. So we want to implement enabling and disabling the start button. There are two occasions. The first one, when the game loads, this start button should be enabled and have a start and so on. When the user clicks the start button, we need to turn that button off and perhaps even change start game and put something else, because you can't start game again. And then when the alert that says that the game is over, when that alert comes, then that's the time where we need to bring that button on so the user can start another game if they want. So currently we have this start game button that is set, and we need to be able to enable it and disable it. So the first step is to make an outlet, connect that button to be an outlet, and the next step is to go in the implementation file, turn it on and off. There are two places. The first one is the Start Game module. When the user clicks Start Game, we need to go to that module, turn the button off. And the second is in the play game. When the alert view comes, after the alert view, we need to turn that button back on. So let's do that. So bring the assistant editor and connect the Start Game button, Control, and connect the button in any space with the properties. And we're going to call this button Start. It's an outlet, type is UI button, and don't worry about storage for now. So we connected the Start Game button. Now we'll switch to the implementation. And the first thing is we want to synthesize that button. You can add a new line, or you can just add a comma and add the button name. Two locations: the Start Game module, which is where the user goes after they click the Start Game button. What we want to do here is to disable the Start Game button. So we'll do that by sending a message to the Start Game button. And in the implementation of the different buttons, I showed you how you can retrieve a reference to the title label and send the message to the label to set the text. But if you examine the documentation and look for the UI button, you will see a task called title, or set title for state. The set title for state, if you go to that task, it says it sets the title for use for a specific state. And what are the different states? If you click on the control states, there is a state highlighted, disabled, selected, application, reserved, and there is the also the state normal. So we can use that. We can go directly and say set the title for the state. So we want to set the title. This will set the, well, we're gonna need to set the title anyway. So we'll set the title to be now playing, and then the state will be UI control state, and this is disabled. So when the button is disabled, we want to display now playing. Now we haven't disabled the button, so we go ahead and disable the button, set enabled, and say false. Alright. So the first line changes the title of the button. The second line changes the state of the button to make it enabled or disabled. Now we need to reverse that back in the module where the alert view comes. So if I go to the play game, and here is where the alert view comes after all the turns have expired, and we can come here and activate the start button. So I can turn the start button on, set enabled to true, and set the title back to start game. Set title for the state, and the title here will say start game, and the state where we want the title to be start game is UI control state normal. Okay. So activated the button in the play game and disabled the button or deactivated the button in the start game. Let's see if this will work. So here is the beginning. You have the start button active, the help button active, and the feedback buttons are inactive. You click start game, it switches to an inactive state and now display now playing. You can't click on it. The game is at pause. All what the user can do, they can click help or they can click one of those buttons. So you click button, everything is disabled until you give an answer. And when all the turns are over, the button comes back and is now active, so you can click on it, and so on and so forth. Alright, so that will be the end of this video. In the next video, what is left for us is the scoring, and the scoring will be implemented in this view. Then we'll activate the stats view to display stats for the game, and we'll do that in the next video.